And we're live. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Eric, aka Add the Beef Dev, back at it again. Today I'm gonna be working on doing some more icons for the game. As you can see, I have some stuff pulled up, and you may have seen. Actually, let me just pull up the other screen so you can see the other icons while I'm talking. Yeah. Alright, yeah. So, making. It's not a good because my face is in the way. Yeah, making icons for the game I'm co-developing. Um, and I stuttered when I was like thinking, because I was trying to add like new things to it's your boy or whatever, that classic YouTuber intro. Um, but yeah, anyway, so I'll be doing some of that. Hopefully the tags are correct, because for whatever reason, um, Twitch keeps doing it where like it has to whatever the last tag I use, not necessarily the one that I use, is the early category or whatever. So yeah, okay. So I'm gonna be right, so working on icons, and today I'm doing well. So I already did this power up icon, right, for like an insta kill sort of deal, which I can show you guys. Where's the insta kill? Right, so that's like the insta kill spooky skeleton. It's gonna be about this big on screen, so it's fine. So today I'm only working on two things. One is way easier than the other one, and yeah, the hard one is the one I'm doing right now, which is making the weapon switch icons, because we have like a crossbow slash shotgun weapon going on. Um, so yeah, but I'm doing the outline based on 3D renders that I got from like some of my softwares. And that's where I'll start this and say poison. Well, for the arrow is gonna be a poison arrow. And all I really have right now for that is, what's it? Poison. Oh man, where did I put it? Oh yeah, it's right below it. It's just the arrow. So I'm basically reusing the same arrow that I've done for the other, I guess, trick arrows or whatever, because that saves time and is consistent. Right, anyway. So I'm gonna start with the hard one. I'm not sure how far I'll get in the stream because I'm not planning on streaming like for a long time. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to attempt the like finish most of this one and then do the poison arrow, but yeah, we'll see. Also, let me know if the music and or audio are fine, because I'm not 100% sure. Always messing with the audio. Alright. Right. Yeah, I went to stream a little bit earlier today, but there were some guys with like blow dryer thing. No, not blow dryer, but like the thing that swats away like leaves and stuff, whatever that's called, that machine. There's some dudes doing their work outside with that, so I didn't want for my audio to sound like it was the whole practicing again. And something that I've come to realize about making icons, because a lot of times when I made icons, it's basically just using vector graphics, which works for a lot of projects, but for this specific project, I felt like I needed more of a, I guess, handcrafted touch. Something that I'm really enjoying about this whole process, as opposed to the other times I've made icons, is that I get to exaggerate and imply detail where there's no real detail. Because the actual crossbow in game is gonna have like a ridiculous inlay of like, I guess, details or whatever. And I'm not gonna do all those details here because the icon's gonna be so small. If all those details were there, it would just get the scene to not look as great. Right. So right now, really just doing an outline of the basic shapes, and so I keep zooming in and out because I'm trying to, I guess, decide where I think I should make more prominent. I'm also making sure that I'm on the correct layer because you hate drawing on your reference layer. Alright. There's some stuff that I'm not sure if I really need to showcase, at least like geometry wise on the model, for like on the icon for the model. I'm not sure. If you caught my last Resident Evil stream, I was, I guess, kind of looking at some of the things they had for the menu, and I noticed they didn't really do rifling for the barrels of guns in the model viewer, whatever thing they had, which I found interesting because I usually do the rifling. I think that's what it's called. I mean, I used to call it spinneroonie when I was in school, but there's a lot of spinneroonies in guns, right? So maybe it's not the most accurate term. Alright. And the design of the crossbows actually changed a bit since this iteration. Because it was just like to test the size of it and the shape to make sure it had like strong visual language in it of itself. And the crossbow itself has changed a little bit, but not significant enough for you to be able to tell, again, because of the size of the icon itself. And I look forward to finishing all the icons. I don't think I'll do all the, well, yeah, I guess by definition, because of the way we're gonna run the project, I'm not gonna make all the icons. Because we're hoping to launch a Kickstarter and get some funding and add a whole bunch more content. So yeah, there's a lot of power-ups that we've thought about that I think would be really cool to add, but at this stage I feel like we're just gotta stick with the basics for the Kickstarter campaign, and then we can move on to doing more intensely detailed stuff, or like weird power-ups. Like I had an idea for like an anti-gravity power-up type deal, so you could like suspend your enemies like above the air and shoot them. But that's the type of feature that would take a hot second to figure out, like what mechanically, in terms of coding and art wise and a whole bunch of other aspects, take a hot second to figure out. So it's definitely not gonna be one of the basic power-ups. I think maybe if it was something unique that has never been done before in any game, then it might be an interesting selling point. But since it has been done in other games before, then it's not such a high priority. Alright. Yeah, okay. So right now I'm like again debating what areas I should highlight. And there's this little ridge that I have around these like red parts that did stay in the final design, so I decided to actually not super emphasize them, but include them in the outline. It might be that I'm gonna have to simplify this a whole bunch more still, but it's totally fine. Alright. It's fine. It's been a hot second since I've seen this particular render, so part of it's also remembering like, okay, no, that's just a shadow. This isn't part of the geometry of the bow. No, I'm actually really proud of this bow because I'm not like the greatest, I guess, concept artist, but I came up with the idea with a bow. Integrated some fun concepts from like real life reference, and then try to modify it so it fits this like over the top sort of world. And I don't know, I think, or you can, this screenshot doesn't do it justice, right? But yeah, it's like a triple repeating crossbow, and the idea is for it to have like 6 shots before you have to reload, and then the shotgun itself has, I think, 2 shots before you have to reload. I'm not sure if we should do it like where the shotgun just like both of the bullets discharge, or it should just be one at a time, like an actual rifle would. I don't know. I think some of that's gonna have to be like we make a decision, and then through testing we figure out if that's the correct decision or not. Man, I feel like I've been working on like this game forever. don't get me wrong, I'm excited to keep working the game, but at the same time, it's just I feel like I've put so much time into it. I would like to be able to move on to another project, like for a little bit. Oh yeah. I don't know when we're gonna get a chance to do that. I mean, so ideally, depending on the time scales and depending on all the Kickstarter and a whole bunch of other variables, the plan is to like support the game for a while until we feel comfortable that we can stop receiving updates like once it comes out. Then move on to whatever the next project is. You know, ultimately, a lot of this stuff is also going to end up being portfolio work for me. And portfolio work is just meaning like I'm going to put it in my portfolio. So it's like a repertoire of my art stuff. So when I apply places, they can see that I know what I'm doing. So you can see some of the cool stuff that I've made. But yeah. I just realized that Spotify's doing ads. I was like, what is that? I might switch back to YouTube instead of Spotify because I don't know, man. I don't like ads. Like in general, I feel like I understand the purpose of ads, right? But I just not about it, man. Can't imagine that a lot of people are really excited. No, what? And then that's a generalization. Like I know there's probably a fair bit of people that are super excited about the Super Bowl ads, right? And those are just ads by definition. All right. So we got two outlines of things, and I did in these specific colors so they kind of stand out with their specific background that I have now. Though nothing is really designated as far as like the color for the background. It's gonna be a thing that's gonna depend on the illustration itself and whatever colors I end up going with. So I'm just gonna add a couple more details. This that I feel that I could use it. All right. So what was I talking about? Oh yeah, that I'd be happy to move on to whatever next project comes after this one. I think partially is that like when right now we're trying to stay away from like that indie developer style, which everything's like simplified shapes and all of that's done in an effort to, I guess, to be cost efficient, because it takes a long time to make these things, especially if you're going for like the style that we're going to, and we're trying to get as close to AAA as we can, with like things that I know and then things that are the programmer knows. Okay, that looks good. All right, so now, actually, I wonder if I could get away with it. Maybe. So now what I'm pondering is whether or not I could just turn these lines dark and it's gonna look fine. I feel like I still need one of these backgrounds at least. So, like, how about? Okay, I'm gonna focus on the these red lines and go from there. All right. So we have those over here. Yeah. So I'm gonna make a copy because we don't want to lose that. Select it. Make a new layer. Select black. Fill in my line work. Deselect everything. It's not too terrible. Whoops. Okay, that was terrible. That's fine. Right, so right now, I'm probably gonna clean up the lines a little bit. Actually, zooming into them. I don't know. Like you won't be able to see it from like this distance, as some of the lines are kind of scuffed. But I don't know. I'd feel more comfortable if I clean them up. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You know, one of my other streams, because I started doing this thing on Thursday with like the lead programmer and my friend, where we teach each other stuff from like our different disciplines. So like I was teaching him art stuff, and he's teaching me programming stuff. I think this week I'm due for another programming lesson. Um, but I was teaching about like pixel art and just basics of art. And somebody on stream, it was my friend Barnacle Twitch. I think that's his name here. I'm not sure. But anyway, he was asking if you could do like the pixel art stuff with a tablet. And you 100% can do pixel art, because if you zoom in like far enough to anything, right, just, you can see like the little cross, I guess, things of pixels. So you could definitely do it. It's just gotta change the resolution whenever you're like done with it, so that it looks good. Alright, just bolding these lines, make him look a little bit less. I keep saying sketchy, but it's not. Sketchy is not the word. It's like shaky, I suppose. This was just to be like a freeform sort of drawing. Yeah, this is supposed to be what's it called, like a synthwave mix, because I really like that aesthetic. But this kind of turned into some synthwave reggae. My only real exposure with reggae is watching the show Cops when I was younger. Okay, so now comes the cool part, I think. It's gonna be actually coloring this whole thing. So what I like to do is go to layer below it, change to whatever color I'm gonna be using. So I'm gonna be using, yeah, like yeah, that gray looks good for the barrel. I mean, I'm not sure what color the barrel itself is gonna be when I'm done with it, but I don't know. This gray will do for now. So all of this is pretty much steel except this chunk, and I think I want to make this chunk brass. So for our purposes, oh man, that's hard to see. That's fine. All right. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do like a very scuffed outline of the whole thing, so I can just use the color fill tool or whatever, paint bucket tool. That's what it's called. Color fill tool. I wonder where I got that from. Alright. And I'm also going to be covering this area that I said was going to be bronze, as well as the area that is going to be wood, just because it's easier to block out things in layers. If I don't have to like clean up my lines every step of the way and just clean it up on its actual, I guess, material layer, then that'd be a lot more efficient. See, oh sweet, didn't mess it up. Okay, so yeah, let me take a look back at the other icons so I can get a feel as to how I was doing these. Where's the reload one? There you go. Because this one, it has wood and steel. Okay, so it looks like to me I did, okay, yeah, so I did a pass of like a darker shade, then lighter shade, then I did a pass of black and white, and all of this. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure which brushes I was using, but now it's more clear that I looked at my previous example. Oh man, actually, I think about it, I should just use the same, I guess, temperature of this thing, or this steel, because I like it a lot. Alright, so let's go back to this. I wonder if it'll let me just refill the shape. It will. Sweet. Man, that's such a good thing that, like, since I already did this, I could just refer to my work back and forth. So now I don't even have to guess about like what the darker color was. I just, I guess, color match it. Yeah, there we go. Good thing I decided to do steel. I'm definitely gonna go back for the wood. Alright, so we got steel. So I'm gonna try and add more detail to it. So first I like to select my area, that way I don't have any weird color spills. And I'm gonna go ahead and change my brush, because I like this brush better. And just start adding, I guess, detail. So I'm gonna pretend the lines are just going from here, because that's how I've done it for all the rest of the icons. So I'm doing that. Alright, right now we have, so I'm gonna start with the darker color, because I feel like that makes the most sense to my brain. start with a darker color and then build up from there. Yeah, alright. So all I'm trying to do here really is just build contour and shapes. And eventually I'm going to go in with like an actual black and white and then mess with the opacity of it. But yeah, right, I'm just trying to build the shape to give the illusion of depth. And I might even do rifling in here. No, actually I don't think muskets had rifling, now that I think about it. So it wouldn't make a whole heap of sense if I did that. So that's all gonna be bronze. And then I'm just like not bothering with the areas that I know are gonna be bronze, like this. As much as I like to set the definition for those things, then it's just be a waste of time at this point. Alright. Okay, cool. So yeah, I gotta make sure there's some shadows following the barrel. So it doesn't look like it's just floating there. And some soft shadows here. Sweet, alright, let's do... Keep accidentally switching partly quick scrolling. Alright, so now let's do the light version of it. Or the highlight, I suppose I should say. This is back to what I was saying earlier that I'm really enjoying because you can exaggerate details. Because I would never do something like this on a full-scale illustration because it just looks unpolished. But for these purposes, it looks just fine, and it's to my benefit to exaggerate some of these details. Alright, let's do that. Alright, and now I'm just gonna do a layer of black and white. Just so we can reinforce the shadows where we want them. Actually, I could probably just do this like from the get-go for everything. Is there anything that I have selected here? No, okay. So I'm gonna just do it here in these two layers. So again, I'm gonna starting with the dark color. And all I'm doing is just refining its shape. That way it looks like it has depth. And it's gonna look like I'm going over these things because I am. That way it like further reinforces. Like the more I go over it, like slowly with my, I guess, changing opacity, the more it just builds up the shape slowly, and it lets me know when I've gone too far or when I haven't gone far enough. Alright. And it's alright for these lines to be messy because I usually hit it with like a blur. And then, what's it called? Yeah, it's a blur, and then I just mess with its opacity. Alright, so let's have some of this going on here. Okay, and some of this going on here. Alright, now I get to do some more shadows here that I hadn't done before in this area. I feel like I could have gotten some of these shadows, like if I had set up my lighting properly in the render. I just wasn't thinking about it when I did the render. Now I'm at the point where like it's faster for me to do this because I know where the shadows should be. Then going back and re-rendering it, fixing the lights and all those things. So those things where like you get more practice so you have like a better idea. I feel like I spent a whole bunch of time just learning where shadows go. Alright. Alright, so that should pretty much, yeah, just have this full dark. I was just thinking whether or not it would be all dark. And I don't think it would be. I think it'd probably be to like here, but it would look weird if it's not all dark. Alright, just a little bit more between the cracks. Alright. Alright. So that should be it for our dark highlights. And I can just go ahead and lower the opacity on it from the get-go. Yeah, I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'll do my highlights now. Very seldomly do I feel like it's the right move to use pure white or pure black on an illustration, because it's just the pure white and pure black are like natural colors to the human eye, right? So they kind of stand out a little too much. So I prefer doing shades like how I did with these things originally. But I think if it's the opacity is down, and again, this is a very specific case because of the type of illustration that it is and the size that it's gonna be. Yeah, I think it's fine. With like a case by case basis, I suppose. Oops, alright. That's why we mask. Alright. Alright. So I have this at 47, so let's try it at 47, see how I feel about it. Alright, yeah, no, at a distance it actually really looks like it, what's it called, like I did add all the extra detail. So now, something I'm gonna do here is the same thing that I did here, which is just color it all black. Alright, and here. Alright. So I like using this brush a whole bunch because it just kind of sort of blends the colors softly instead of being like a straight black, which I mean honestly doesn't matter too much at this distance, but it's just details that I like doing. Okay, so now we can call the steel in this area done. Actually, let me just switch real quick to YouTube because I'm getting upsetty spaghetti about what's it called, the ads. So let's do what I have in my DMCA playlist. Alright, so I'm gonna shut that down. And this is still generally within, you know, the same genre. Ooh, it's loud as heck. Alright, so that should be good. And if you join my streams, you usually hear this specific song. So let's skip forward to, I don't know, I haven't seen this cover, so hopefully it's cool. And let's hit it with the shuffle. There you go. Cool. Right. Where was I at? Okay, back to the illustration. So actually, yes, it's a good time to get my reference. Because I said the other thing was gonna be like brass, right? So I think I remember what brass looks like color-wise, but I'm not like 100% super duper sure, right? And what I mean by that is that like, just because you remember something doesn't mean you know what it looks like. Because usually your mind kind of makes a little bit different. So what I'm gonna do here is get a picture of brass and just use the thing to color match. Alright, so let me empty layer now. Right. I think this is my steel. Right. Okay, so it's the line work. I think again. So these two shouldn't be touched at all. Oh, I didn't even. Oof! So I usually put in different layers. This time I guess slipped my mind. All right. I guess that makes the workload more concise. Right, so I have a new layer. I'm looking at different types of brass. 'Cause I don't want like a super polished brass, but I don't want like a super like dirty brass either. I want like an in between. Let's see. Like bullet casings come to mind, but a lot of the time they're very polished. Trumpets are usually very polished. Oh, a brass rod. I feel like that's a good in between because nobody really cares about whether or not the brass rod is polished or not. polished, but it's a hard word. Alright. So let's get back to it, I guess. So we got this now, so I can use that as to my color matching. So okay, again I'm gonna let me switch brush. Right, so I'm gonna switch brush so I can do the whole blobby thing. Make sure I capture all the details that I want to be brass and nothing else. Okay, just making sure. So I'm gonna color match what I think the base of my brush should be, which I think is probably something like along these lines, like a darker-ish, but not like super dark because it's covered with shadow. Ooh, what about that one? Yeah, I like that one. All right. You know, actually, I think I'm gonna turn off. Whoops, turn off the highlights and the shadow layer. It's a little bit distracting right now. You know, I forgot to select everything again, alright? And I'll go back to this layer. Always make sure you go back to the correct layer, kids. It's real easy to goof and gaff if you don't. Alright. Oops, alright, so I went a little too far there. So delete that. So easy to get carried away. Alright, and I have to be a little more careful with the line work here to do the material separation if I want it to work out properly, which I do. Alright, the good thing is that there's no penalty for coloring outside of the lines. And I can just erase wherever I messed up. Alright. Oh, where did I mess up there? Let me see. Yeah, because I should close the shape, so there's no reason why it should have gone further like that. Maybe here. Something a little less gap can make the difference between your shape doing what you want it to do and not. Alright, just go back to inspecting my lines. It all seems pretty solid to me. Let's try it again. Okay, sweet. Alright, so we got our base brass. And we could either color pick, which I just might do. Oh, man. Oh my goodness. I really don't like that feature. Because I'm working with like a extended keypad thing with like a, what's it called? Like a scroll wheel. And like that's how I zoom in and out. So far I'm not digging that using the scroll wheel on the these two things also does the same thing. Okay, so this time let's do it properly. Let's do layers, and again let's start with the dark. Oh, right, not this brush. And we're gonna switch our selection to just this. See, brush, this brush. Alright. So all of this should be dark because the light source is over yonder. Alright. Alright. I'm definitely gonna have to cut this off later. Which I might just do with the background things by layering it like a certain way. It's no big deal. Alright. You know, thinking about the other thing? I know like there's like streamers that do like gameplay and stuff with like bananas or weird things. I wonder if I could just like play on my drawing tablet like using this pen, like Rainbow Six or something. That might be pretty intense. You know that I'm good at Rainbow Six, but still. Alright, so we got our dark colors. Wait, oh no, I did it again. I painted on the wrong layer. It's fine. Alright, so let's do the highlights on a separate layer this time for sure, Alright. You know, I feel like I don't have a whole bunch of practice painting metal. So this is definitely helping out. Because I mean, right now, like I'm not super happy. Like the excuse is that this is like a rougher thing, and I don't get to spend so much time in it because of the scale. But still, I don't know. I would like to get better at it. All right, so we got that going on, and now let's just check in with our highlights and the shadows. That looks pretty good. All right. Oh, turned off the line work. It looks so weird without the line work. Ew, I don't like it. Alright, so we got that, and the next part of this was gonna be wood, right? Like this thing. That was actually the underneath part of this bow. So let's do. I feel like I should also have like a wood thing over here. Not 100% sure on that one though. Alright, so you got our metal, got our copper. Alright, so I'm gonna have to do my wood here. And for wood, let's go back to our handy dandy reference of the reload icon. There you go. Oh yeah, let's have that be the base, the color, and then I can figure out the other parts without having to come back. Alright, and let's switch our brush again to make the blobby blob. Alright, and this time I gotta be extra super duper careful because there's no selection that can help me this on this particular area. Gotta freehand it all. Alright. In my case, I could have just done the same color bucket thing, but this seemed somehow faster. Okay, and now also I wanted to try doing something like this. Let's see how that reads from a distance. It reads fine from a distance, so we're gonna go with it. So now we got this color. What I like to do is match this color and then match the same color. And then I can make this one darker and I can make this one lighter. Alright. Okay, now that we do have this selection, do that. Make sure to switch to the other layer. And again, start with the dark colors. I think I also really like this brush because it has like an opacity setting, so I can do multiple pastures to build up how you like the color how you would in traditional art medium. All right. Okay, so all this should probably be dark actually. All right. And this a little bit darker still, and this a little darker still. And little streaks here. Another layer. And now we do our highlights. So yeah, I don't think this one would get too many highlights just because of the placement. Maybe here, like in the corners where the light might catch. All right, some of that. And now let's. I don't know. That might be it for this wood piece. I might even make this steel brighter. I'm not 100% sure. Alright. Oh, looks so dramatic. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna try and make that steel base color brighter. Oh, because I didn't do it in layers. It's gonna be fun. Alright, so I'm gonna go to the filter thing. I feel like it's adjust and HSV. Okay, no, I just switched this whole color, so I feel like I should go back to 0. I wonder if saturation would change anything for the better. No. 0, alright. Lightness. Oh, there you go. Alright. So we have these variants. I guess I could zoom out, see what reads better. Yeah, this one reads more as metal than the other one, so I'm gonna go with this one. And we're done with this part of the icon. And now the next one is gonna be this part. So I want to be using pretty much the exact same thing for the metal. Trying to think. What are we at? Okay, we're at 43 minutes. So I'm gonna change gears a little and do the poison arrow. Immediately I want to finish it in my off time. But it's like, this is my time, right? But I don't think I want to be streaming the whole thing per se. Anyway, alright, let's do that. Do I have any layers associated with this? Alright, so earlier I was trying to decide what would look better, this or this, like as far as like the orientation of the arrow. And I feel like I like this one, besides because I've been using it for all the other ones, and it adds that like sense of consistency. Let me see. Oh, did it move? Okay, cool. So I think the funnest part of these icons, because these end up being. See, I feel like I have them all in a folder here to easily showcase them. Let me see. Yeah, I do. So doing this background thing is usually the funnest part for me. So I'm gonna start with that because I already know it's gonna be green because it's a poison arrow. So you know, it's not a whole bunch of other things to do. So let's choose a nice green. Ooh, okay. How about if we look at? So Disney uses like green to signify evil a lot of times, like evil magics, evil whatever. And I like that. I guess because it's just a little different than the norm, and it's like a neon bright green. Okay, I'm gonna pop in a picture so you can see, and then we're gonna use that as our base and inspiration, right? So this is evil green sort of deal there going on. So I'm gonna go with this as my base, and then make different colors for the rest of the streaks. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna have lines just going this way. So switch your brush to this one because I like this one a lot. All right. And let's have one that's a little bit lighter. And then one that's a little bit darker. Usually I just really like using 3 different shades. Like one light, one dark, and then the base for most illustrations because that usually gets the job done. It depends on like what it is you're doing exactly. But a lot of times it's fine. Right, so right now I'm just gonna be trying to like very thickly populate these. And now do like thinner lines. The cool thing about these brushes is that you get to, I guess, press hard and have like a really light color or press lightly. And that gives like a whole new range. So part of the reason that I like doing these lines for the icons is that it also gives it like a sense of motion, which I think is important, especially when you're speaking about arrows, right? And the background for that poison arrow icon is done. So congratulations us. Alright, so I'm gonna do, I think if I do, let me see. Yeah, I could just do like a really light green overall. And then have like some droopy droops. So let's do that. So you have this light green. Let's go a little bit lighter. Switch your brush again so we can do the blob. Alright. It's a brand new layer, so we should be fine. I feel like I should focus on making the arrow tip itself feel like it's poisoned. Oh, maybe I could do one of these. What color would the rest of the arrow be though? Well, okay, so I guess the arrow can be green, like the arrow tip itself. Then I do an even lighter one for the poison effect, right? Alright. Ugh, I messed up there. It's fine. Alright, so we got that going on. And then we have to do like a bright outline around this. But we could do an even brighter one. Let's do another layer. Oh, made a copy. Alright. I feel like poison might look something like this, at least visually. So it comes across as like poison. Because I do want to go with the droopy droops, but like I also want to experiment with the different things. See what I'm into. Maybe. I don't know. Not feeling that one. Let's change brush again. See if we can come up with something more interesting. I want something that feels like water. Of course, I'm going to do highlights to make it feel more like water, but if the paint itself, at least in the digital paint here, flows like water, it might be easier to get that effect across. Ooh, what about this? Alright, so let's say we do like the droopy droop. Is that how we're gonna do it? I don't like it. It feels cheap. I do like me having stuff like that. Like snakes are also associated with poison, right? So why don't we do like a snake thing maybe? Oh yeah, that might be just the right amount of extra that I like. Although right now, looking at this, I think I'm gonna make that like a greener wood color. Yeah. So let me color pick from here. Just try that. Let's see how that feels. Maybe a little darker. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Because yeah, it definitely stands out. We know it's green, right? Let's look for more reference. Let's see how people do poison arrows. So I get some inspiration. Oh, apparently there's a song called Poison Arrow. Cool, man. So people do like smoke or droopy droops, what I'm looking at. There might be a different way to do it though. Okay, so how about let's try the smoke route. See how we like that. So where were we? Is this the layer? Yeah. So I'm gonna get rid of that. Oops. Alright, so let's try a different brush. I mean these have water on it, right? So they must be like water. It's probably because it's like watercolor inspired. More than anything. Alright, let's make this very... Yep. Yeah, something I have to catch your eye. Let's see. Let's do... Ooh, I like this a lot. So I want to kind of make it look like it's dripping onto the shaft and stuff, like how liquid would. Because you would put a poisoned liquid on your arrow, presumably. I don't know. But yeah, I kind of like this feel. I hope it reads well, because sometimes some of these subtle details don't read as well, like at a distance. Yeah, that kind of doesn't read as like the droopy lines. But maybe something like that might. Yeah. Yeah, I like doing this like transparent tea sort of loops as my creep troops. So for sure, we gotta add more here, just so it feels like it's emanating poison, whatever that may be. I don't know. Loki looks like a horse's like mane. Hmm. You know, I thought this was gonna be a lot easier, and it's been to come up with like an interesting way to do poison. All right, so yeah, let's just try the smoke thing. Let's see if that works in our favor. Is it this one? All right, so smoke is like in an S pattern typically, right? So maybe we could do something along those lines, and like wrapping around. Sorry, so let's do that one. Very low opacity, so we can get a better sense. If I'm gonna do smoke, I think that other brush we were using earlier might be the way to go. So, all right, I'm still in the wrong layer. All right, hopefully that reads the smoke. If it don't, then we'll change it. It's no huge deal. It's fine. I like changing my designs and reworking over and over. Oh, it looks good when it's like overlapping like this. Let's just turn this other layer. Kind of like, I like this initial thing. Oh, maybe have like a snake. That's an idea. All right. So let's do what, like, what would you call this? I wouldn't call this like an astral snake, but like a snake made out of poison. I don't know. All right, so let's do. All right. All right. So this is. Let's see what we're going on right now. Ooh, it looks actually kind of cool, man. Alright. And let's do that. It's just gotta look vaguely snake-like so your brain can do the rest of the hard work. And then, of course, you want it to be evil, angry snake. Yeah, actually looks real dope. Alright, let's erase these parts we don't need. You know, part of me's thinking if maybe I should make this like a regular arrow tip instead of whatever this is. Just try it out. So actually, yeah, okay, never mind. I was gonna move it to a different screen so I get more control. Ugh. But the way that I'm doing my capture, it's the not gonna quite work. Alright, so we did again our handy dandy reload, right? Nope, red potion. Open switch, poison, reload. Alright. So let's see these layers. See how I composed it after all. I imagine honestly I could just take the whole arrow. Like whole valley. Alright, so I'm gonna make a copy of this. Alright. Turn this off. What does this layer do? Oh, yeah, okay, so let's do that. Let's merge a whole bunch of layers until it feels like we messed up. Alright. What is this? Okay, need that. Need this. That's okay. Yeah, can I pretty comfortably move this up by itself? Delete that. Oh no, boys, we did mess up. Dang it. Oh, it's fine. That's why we make copies. That's all good. Alright, so where I went wrong is I merged the arrow wherever that was. Just here. How big is this? Well, I'm gonna need to expand that. Well, that's fine. So let's do select from here to that, and then control E. Still gonna do it. Sweet. Yeah, now I can move this up. I can delete this copy. Then I can select everything that's not this arrow. I like the middle arrow the best. Let's delete that. And let's delete this. Control Shift A. Right. Almost perfectly lined up. Let's see, come on. Let me go down. All right. I don't know what you guys, but that reads poison at the very least, snake to me. I think I'm gonna go with that. I think I like the rough snake shape. I'm not sure if I'm into refining later on, but for now, I think it's pretty good. Alright, so we've been doing this for just an hour 20. So okay, an hour and seconds. And I was probably only gonna do an hour, but yeah. So you got kind of far, and was with half of the what's it called, the switch weapon icon. We did the poison one real quick. We call that a win for a stream. Alright, we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for joining and watching. Have a good one. Bye. I keep clicking the wrong thing. Okay. Bye for real. Bye.